Most wedding photographers use Adobe Lightroom to manage and retouch their photos. But there are times when they need to switch to Photoshop for more control. In this tutorial, you will learn 3 of the most common effects used by wedding photographers. We'll show you how to access and use the hidden split toning presets in Photoshop CS6, create high contrast black and white photos without clipping any highlights or shadows, and apply a popular film effect that gives your photos a memorable feeling with just one curves layer. To follow this tutorial, you'll need Photoshop CS6. Split toning. The first effect you will learn is split toning. Split toning is an effect that tints the highlights and shadows of your black and white photo to give it a two-tone color effect. You can do this easily in Adobe Lightroom, but sometimes you need to switch to Photoshop for more control. Thankfully, Photoshop CS6 already comes with 39 photographer-created split toning presets. Before you apply this effect, you need to convert your image to a black and white photo. You can do this easily by adding a black and white adjustment layer. Feel free to make any adjustments you like, or use the Auto button to have Photoshop guess the best settings for you. Next, go into your Adjustments panel and add a Gradient Map adjustment layer. Set the blending mode of this layer to Color. This blending mode makes the layer affect only the color of the layers below, and it's useful when you want to preserve the tonal information in your photo. Go into your Properties panel and click on the arrow button beside the gradient to bring up the Gradient Preset Picker. In the Preset Picker, click on the Presets menu and load the photographic toning presets. There are 39 toning presets to pick from. We made a chart for you so that you can see how all these presets look. You can find the download link in the video description. Pick any toning preset that you want to use. Some of these presets can look overly strong, but this is done purposely so that you can lower the opacity as a way to adjust the strength. After picking your tone, lower the opacity until you get the results that you like. To adjust the balance of the colors, go into the Gradient Editor and reposition the colors. We're done. Here are the final results. High contrast black and white. Sometimes when you convert an image to black and white, it can look a little flat. So to improve it, you would add an adjustment layer to increase the contrast. The bad news is that this usually clips the shadows and highlights. And it's especially a problem in wedding photography when you have black tuxedos and white dresses in the same picture. You can try using the Curves tool to get around this, but you might get flat-looking spots that make the image look worse. The good news is that you can fix this, and it's easier than tinkering with the Curves tool. Here's how to do it. First, open a black and white photo. You can use any tool you like to increase the contrast, but to keep things simple, we're just going to use the Brightness Contrast adjustment. When adjusting the contrast, pay attention to the midtones and don't worry about the clipping that occurs in the shadows and highlights. For our photo, we're increasing the contrast to its maximum setting of 100. This looks great in the midtones, but the shadows in the tuxedo and highlights in the dress gets clipped. To fix this, we can use the Blend If layer styles. This feature is extremely powerful for professional photographers because they let you adjust where the layer is visible. To access it, right-click on the layer, then choose Blending Options. In the Blend If options, hold the Alt or Option key and drag the black input slider towards the right to restore the details in the shadows. Next, hold the Alt or Option key and drag the white input slider towards the left to restore the details in the highlights. Now your highlights and shadows are recovered, and it only took a few seconds. Here are the before and after results. Film look. Finally, you'll learn how to create this popular film look that gives your photos a nostalgic feeling. Many wedding photographers buy expensive Lightroom presets to accomplish this, but we'll show you how to make it yourself. This technique uses just one curves layer, and you can use the same technique in Adobe Lightroom to create your own presets. You should have some knowledge about how curves work, but we'll teach it to you step by step so that you can understand what we're doing. To start, create a new curves adjustment layer. We're going to begin by reducing the contrast of the photo to give it the film look. Drag the bottom left point up. As you drag, you'll notice that the shadows are getting brighter. Now drag the top right point down slightly to make the highlights darker. You want to try to keep both points at an equal distance from the edge. Now we have a low contrast photo, but it doesn't look all that great. We only want the low contrast effect in the highlights and shadows, but not in the midtones. So to correct this, create an S-shaped curve to increase the contrast in the midtones. The curvier your S-curve is, the stronger your contrast will be, so try to keep the points near the diagonal line in the middle for a subtle contrast. As you can see, this one adjustment alone can give you the film look. If you want to go further and give it a lomography or expired film look, go into the red, green, or blue channel and create an S-curve to increase the contrast. Try it in each channel to see the color effect that you can get with it. You can also tint the shadows and highlights with complementary colors by reducing the contrast in either one of the red, green, or blue channels. For example, if you switch to the blue channel and drag the bottom left point up, you'll increase the blues in the shadows. Drag the top right point down and you'll increase the opposite color, which is yellow. If you want the midtones to stay neutral, add a point to the middle of the curve so that the midtones don't move. You can adjust where the color effect gets clipped by adding more points to the curve and positioning them so that your curve is aligned with the diagonal line. Here are the results of this film effect. Play around to create your own effects. It takes practice to understand the curves tool, and there's an endless amount of effects that you can create. Use this same technique with the RGB curves introduced in Adobe Lightroom 4. To save money, create your own Lightroom presets. If you want to see some examples, have a look at the Instagram and Brustalgia actions by Sparklestock. They all use RGB curves to create their look. You can find the links to these Photoshop actions in the video description. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Here are the final results of the 3 effects you just learned. Thanks again for watching this tutorial. Remember to subscribe to us for more great Photoshop tutorials. Here are more videos that you might enjoy.